What was that?
We got some new Belgium subscribers who were more interested by the Volvo than the tank, apparently.
So we have parked Skadi in front of a Königstiger, a German King Tiger tank from World War II. It is hard to describe how formidable this thing is. The sheer armor on it is just insane. And you had this big KWK 88 high velocity cannon. This is the pinnacle of German technology towards the end of the war. Now we are in the Ardennes sort of forestry region of Belgium, and this is where the Battle of the Bulge took place. So this is sort of the last big German offensive on the Western Front. They got pushed back by the combined arms of the American, British and Canadian forces after suffering a big defeat at first, and they pushed the Germans back, and then since then they were sort of on the back foot for the rest of the war. They could only really retreat until all the way to Berlin, really. But this is a formidable machine. I had a Tamiya model of this when I was really young, one of those plastic diorama models, and this thing's just insane. We had just seen a Panther tank, which is largely considered sort of one of the most effective German war machines of the war, but this dwarfs it. It's just insane. Some of its weaknesses, though, were by this stage in the war, towards the end of the war, this is sort of like December 1944 going into the early 1945. It was so heavy it couldn't actually cross a large amount of these European bridges that were made out of stone. It would flatten the bridge and end up in a river. And also because the supply chain towards the end of the war was not going in the German favour, they couldn't get enough fuel to these things, because you could imagine what the diesel consumption was on a vehicle this big and this heavy. I'll put up some stats on the screen. I don't know them off the top of my head, so I'll do some Googling for you guys. But just an insane machine. Its weakness, of course, being its running gear, its tracks. So if you could take out a track, this thing was dead in the water, and it was literally just a turret waiting to be either destroyed or have the crew killed. So a lot of these were pretty much kind of just left throughout this sort of region. A lot of these pinnacle German war machines, the troops would have, instead of trying to drive it back on retreat, they would have just left it. So yeah, crazy stuff. But I wanted to show just how thick the armor is. Like look at the side profile of that all the way through. So just insane. So there was really almost no weaponry that the Allies had that could really take this vehicle head on, only from the rear or, like I said, from the tracks. This thing was, yeah, the height. If this had come in earlier in the war, it would have been truly devastating for the Allied forces. Now the Americans, instead of that, they went for more simple, smaller machines and produced them in far higher quantities. So I can't remember the stats that I learnt from university, but they had something like 5 Sherman tanks for every 1 German armoured vehicle. And that is literally how they beat the Germans back, was just by sheer amount of reliable firepower. Whereas these highly complicated German machines were riddled with issues and were often breaking down. There is no armour that the Allies had that could withstand a direct hit from one of these. This was a one-hit kill kind of weapon. Check out the size of this track. It's hard to comprehend how thick this is. I mean, there's never really been a machine in World War II that was much bigger than this. So yeah, really stoked to be in the Ardennes region. So you might know this from, for instance, like the Battle of Bastogne and the original Band of Brothers series. And interestingly, this sort of Battle of the Bulge Ardennes offensive is actually the 3rd bloodiest conflict that the American military has ever been involved in. So this was a really massive campaign at this stage, the Battle of the Bulge. I'm sure many of you would have heard of it, but yeah, that's yeah, interesting stuff. I've learnt a lot about this, both at university and through Hollywood, I guess you could say. But yeah, just insane being able to see this up close. Pretty cool. All right. I am absolutely so stoked to see this.
Good.
This has really, really made my day. In fact, this has made our trip from leaving Sweden so far. Okay, we're going to try and find some trails and do like a little bit of a Battle of the Bulge tour through as much forest as we are legally allowed in. Okay. Okay, I'll do my best to keep us on the road. The turning circle on this vehicle is no joke. Lack thereof. Plus lack of power makes for an interesting combo. Through the Ardennes, hey, this is wicked. Like, this is me in child mode, being able to do this tour. This is really cool. I'm honoured to be able to do this. So on roads like that, Ange, if you could have...
All eyes up, okay.
Yeah, because I couldn't see.
Sure.
Yeah.
Chasing the tractor.
Volvo tractor. It's the Volvo convoy. This is so cool. Through medieval villages. I love this. This thing's got more power than we have. This is fun. This will be a good drone clip. These are the first beaver dams I've ever seen in my life. Very cool. There's a massive one there, it's kind of coated in grass, and there's a bunch up the river. So I think just upstream we found our spot for the night. It'll be much nicer than last night where there was people talking kind of all night long and woke us up a few times. So yeah, we'll just have the sound of this nice flowing stream, so that'll be good. Did a really cool track through the forest, and man, it was great to finally get Skadi into low range and get some 6x6 wheeling done. Got really muddy in a few places, and it's crazy how much the steering wheel just flies all over the show with that lack of power steering. And because of the lack of power steering, there's so many turns to the steering wheel, so I think that's why it flies around the place a lot. But yeah, a lot of fun. So it's been a really great day. Saw a bunch of historical stuff. Just drove past a basically an exploded old American Sherman tank, and now we're gonna kind of chill out for the rest of the day, have some snacks, and hopefully do some more off-roading adventures tomorrow.
So first step when we arrive at camp, Chris is shutting all the windows.
2 minutes. And then
Putting from nighttime to daytime.
half daytime. So at the moment we haven't been putting both platforms back and opening up the entire area because there's not really a ton of benefit to it. So we're being a bit lazy and we just leave it like that. I think maybe when we're at camp for a bit longer than just, you know, a few hours of daylight, then we'll put the whole thing back. But the other bonus of having it like this is Oakley can be put to nap here, which is exactly how I designed it, so that Oakley can nap there and we can still do stuff. So this is how we normally are having it, with plenty enough room to cook and get to the fridge and things like that. And then we've just been climbing over the top to get to the living area, and it works really well. Like, we're stoked. Actually, the camper living arrangement has been great. We have so far had ample enough power as well. Because we're driving, we've got that decent powered alternator. We're getting 50 amps as we drive through our DC-DC, and that is proving to be easily enough to keep us going, even with zero solar really, because of the weather. So time will tell if we can stay in one place for many days. We shall see.
So that's our random little camping spot for the night. I can imagine being lots of traffic around here. We've got a nice little river. It's going to be quite nice to sleep with the sound of the water just next to us. Not too cold, surprisingly, since we've arrived in Belgium. I'm not too sure. I think it maybe around 8 degrees at the moment, but it doesn't feel too bad actually. So overnight it might drop quite a bit though. So yeah, it is chilly, but as we go more and more south, it should get warmer. How are the boys?
Playing in the mud. Eating Doritos.
Boys.
Doing what boys do.
Is that your favorite animal, the lion? What does the lion say? So say yes.
What have we found, Ange?
Welcome to the town of La Roche en Ardennes.
Hey, whoa! Look at that. M10 Achilles. Wow. So this is an M10 tank destroyer modified by the British. This was a great tank for the Americans, the M10. Very under-armoured in comparison to a lot of the heavy German tanks, but had a really good gun on it, high velocity. If this stayed hidden and down nice and low, this could take out German armour. So yeah, cool tank to see, but I've never seen a Achilles version. I don't actually know what was modified. Northampton. This is the 51st Highland Division. The 1st Northamptonshire Yeomanry. Awesome. Maybe half the size of that Koenigsegg. Cool. Here's a Sherman. A knocked out Sherman. Really cool. So that was undergunned, under-armoured, but the Americans produced so many of them. They were just so versatile, could fulfill a number of different roles, and that helped the Allies win the war, as with this tank here. Really good. Something quite different from the German tanks is the German tanks were welded. This was one giant cast piece of steel, which is crazy. You can see here it's all curved. There's no actual weld marks. So that was one difference between the kind of the Allied machinery and the German machinery. Oh, that's cool to see. 76mm gun, and not very high velocity, so it wasn't actually very good at punching through thick armor.
So one of the weird features of the Volvo is the non-synchronized wipers.
It's really weird. And then when you go superpower.
Oh my god. Is it like individually switched?
So if I'm not happy with you, I just don't turn your wiper on and you can't see anything for the day. It's perfect.
Great picture.
This is a United States War Memorial. Hi, for all of the states in America, representing all the lost soldiers. So you've got the different armoured divisions on this side from the army, your infantry divisions, and yeah, it's a really, really, really nice memorial. It's in the shape of a really big star from the air. So this is the Bastogne War Memorial Museum behind us. So I'll go in there soon, just have my coffee and explore this monument. Made it to another country, country number 6. Exactly how I pictured Luxembourg to be. Green fields, rolling hills, cows. Awesome.
Hi! The fluffy mic. Look at this. Good morning everyone from Luxembourg. Yes, so yesterday we made a decision to actually drive from Belgium to Luxembourg, so country number 6. Just very spontaneous decision. We were so close to the border that we decided we were going to check it out, see more forest along the way. Last night we camped very close to river, a very nice spot. There were like little picnic tables. Yeah, we had a nice night of sleep. And yeah, today a bit more exploring. Not too sure what to expect. Maybe we'll see some castles. It's nice to not have too much of a plan, just like a rough idea. So yeah, come with us, explore the forest of Luxembourg. Ooh. Well, that was our first river crossing. Well, actually, it's probably not even a river, but our first little river crossing in Europe. Look how cute.
Nice to be learning how to use this truck off-road. I've already learned quite a bit with it. So we're in low range now, first gear, 6x6 on, diff locks not, heaps of grip, of course. I mean, we've just got so much contact patch by having 6 big fat tires that it's really nice. We haven't lowered our tire pressure or anything like that. It's not chewing into the ground, it's just creepy crawling over it like a caterpillar, which is really nice. But yeah, this is cool. Angel's found us a good track using an app called Wikiloc. Not my most favorite app ever, but it's kind of doing its job, which is nice. This is good, eh?
Slowly and steady. Well, that's a little bit creepy. Don't mind me. Not too sure if someone lives here, but here we go, little hut in the forest. Very happy with Belgium and Luxembourg so far.
Alright, Scotty, we've got a job to do. I love how narrow this vehicle is, but that is a fallen tree right there. Okay, here's a fallen tree, you're gonna have to get out of the way.
Okay. Nice work. Well, again, the GoPro doesn't do it justice, but that was such a steep hill, muddy, on a slight slope to the point where at some stage it felt like really off camber, but she just goes. She shines in this kind of environment for sure. Oh, that's good.
We have got our first major obstacle. This is huge. Thankfully, Silky hooked us up with the Gomboy. So if you haven't heard of Silky, Japanese brand that do a lot of these really nice saws. So I just have this next to me. Let's see
Waiting
if
to
it'll
be
chop through this, and then I'll use Scotty to pull it out of the way. Something we've never even had to do in Australia, to be honest. With all of our travels in Oz, I've never actually had to really remove a tree. Nearly through. Oh,
You okay?
first aid, plaster. Not wise to cut yourself with the silky. Hey sir. Hey sir. How cute is this guy? Little forest dweller. Hey little man. Hey little man.
Oh right, what kind of... Oh, we've got some silky band-aids.
Well,
Appropriate.
Oh, there's quite a bit of blood now. I pulled it out of the tree and hooked myself. Damn, look at that, Alex. That's what blood looks like. Okay, so the big tree bough's kind of, it's mostly cut through, but it's now kind of pinching itself. So I reckon a good tug with Scotty and we'll pull it right out of the way. We have with us, thankfully, did not think we'd be using that on like our second trail, a recovery kit from Sabre Offroad, awesome Australian company, and we have a bunch of Sabre gear for the Unimog for Bowser back home, so only fitting to also have it in Scotty as well. This is the 12K recovery kit. 12K meaning 12,000 kilos, because what you want is 3 times the weight of your vehicle in terms of your recovery kit. That is the strain that is being put on the recovery gear. Any lower and you run the risk of snapping it and not being able to pull your truck out. Because think, you've got the weight of your truck, plus then you've got it stuck in whatever, you know, deep thick mud. It's going to take more than the weight of that vehicle in terms of force to pull it out. So what you get in the kit, this is on the roof by the way, in that roof bag up there. So we've got 2 soft shackles. These are 20-ton soft shackles here. You can see HDX soft shackle. So minimum braking strength, 20 ton. 2 of those, and then we have a recovery rope here. And this one is the kinetic recovery rope, so 12.5 ton, this one. Now kinetic, meaning that it actually has energy within it, so you want to get some form of a stretch. So if you imagine a snatch strap, when you start tugging a vehicle out, you actually want to have, you know, a slight run up to create some elastic strength with the rope. Today I will be using it just for pulling this tree out, so I don't need really any major stretch at all, not like a snatch strap. So this is more just like your standard recovery rope kind of operation. But I must admit, even for the amount of off-roading we have done in Australia and the off-roading we've done in New Zealand, I'm actually pretty green in terms of recovery gear. I think because I'm always rocking a vehicle that is at the top of its class in terms of its capability, similar with Scotty, but perfect to use in a situation like this. So luckily on the front of Scotty we've got this recovery point here. See if I can pull that with one hand. Yep, so I've got that recovery pin there, so that'll be where my soft shackle goes. And in fact I won't even need a soft shackle here, right? I can just put the rope right here and then wrap it around. So I may not even need the soft shackles for this one. Very good.
Nice. Oh, and I just like drive over it there.
Push if you're gonna push. Ready to. Nice. Yes.
Okay. And that for display and then.
Guide me through. I can drive over that.
Okay.
Just on GoPro. So I opted not to use the soft shackles because we've got such a good recovery point there for that one. So thank you, Sabre. That saved our butt. That's the 12k kit. We've got like the 24k for Bowser.
Yeah, you good? Alright, let's pray we can get out from the other side now.
That's what this truck is built for, narrow forestry roads. Bowser just would have not done any of that.
Yeah, no, that was like narrow, the height as well. Yeah, no chance. So yeah, happy we took Steady to Europe.
I'm a bit knackered. I'm going to be sore tomorrow. Hey, thanks to Silky as well. That thing's a weapon, the Gomboy. They've got one larger version, which now maybe that would have been even the better choice for us. And they've also got a smaller version, but and that thing chopped through my finger like it was nothing. It does say it's for wood and bone, so luckily I didn't quite get to bone.
Oh, great.
But yeah, that Silky know how to make a good saw. You probably saw I hacked my finger when I was using the Silky and cutting that tree. So Ange ran and grabbed me some plasters, some band-aids from our first aid kit, which I thought would show you. So this is from a company called Survival First Aid. They're an Australian-based company, and we have this vehicle-based kit in Bowser back in Oz, as well as a snakebite kit. But for here in Europe, obviously the vehicle first aid kit was really important to us, especially now that Oakley's on board. And then we've also got the smaller one called the remote and outdoor module. So the idea behind it is that we've always got a really comprehensive first aid kit here in the vehicle, and this has got quite a lot of space for your personal things as well. So we've got some basic antibiotics in there, as well as we can have, you know, our ibuprofen, our own band-aids, things like that. And these first aid kits are great. They're very well thought out. They come with like an info booklet, as well as everything is labeled. You can replace things as you use them easily from their website. Great first aid kit, and it's a molly panel, so it works really well on our drop down table here. And the idea behind the smaller kit is that we can take that with us when we go hiking, or if we leave the vehicle for like a decent little trip in the outdoors, say we go kayaking at some point or something along those lines, we can just take the smaller module as well. So what happened was I got my finger, the tip of my finger, bitten off back in Oz, about 40k offshore up in Queensland. And luckily I had basically pulled a bunch of stuff out of the larger vehicle kit. But it wasn't really comprehensive, but I'd brought like a decent size, like wrappable bandage, luckily. And I had that in like a Ziploc bag in our backpack with us, because we knew we were going for more than one night on the island. Whereas this kind of does away with it, which is good. You've got just that smaller, lighter kit, and that I could have, for instance, if I had this and I was brought that away with us on the island. But so glad I had it, because there was so much blood. The only way I could stem some of the bleeding was with that really big thick bandage, and I think I used some masking tape or something to tape around it. I can't really remember, but yeah, check these guys out. Survival First Aid, they do some really nice comprehensive kits.
Alright, the truck is certainly looking a lot muddier than when we started this morning, but the camper at least is now nice and clean. It's quite tricky when you get into really muddy environment. The camper gets filthy so fast, but that was a really successful day again, off-roading and green laning, just like exploring forest. That's exactly what we wanted to find in this country. So Luxembourg and Belgium have the
Yeah, they've turned it on, haven't
thumbs
they?
up from us, huh?
And I forgot to tell you guys that yesterday I went into the Bastogne War Museum after showing you that amazing US memorial, and that was such a good museum. Like, cannot recommend it highly enough. It was €22, and if you are in that area of Belgium, 100% go to the Bastogne War Museum. It was very, very good.
So stay tuned for the next episode. We will be exploring a bit more of Belgium before heading to France.
And just want to say, very impressed with Scotty's performance off-road. Such a nimble vehicle. Even though it seems big on the outside, once you're in the forest, it's just, yeah, it's wicked. It's such a weapon. Awesome.
All right,
Okay,
see you
thanks for
next
watching,
time.
guys. We'll see you on the next video.